I don't have an intro. I haven't been doing this long enough to have an intro. So I'm going to start by asking, who are you and what do you do?
Sure. My name's Tom. I go by Infinite Craftsman on the interwebs, and I'm a stay-at-home dad. That's my primary occupation. It has been for, 8 years, even though my oldest is only 7. I had a year of training. And then I got into making. I found the maker community years and years ago, and I grew up with tools, and I love tools. I love making things, and I wanted to build my own shop. And the way I did that was to buy and sell tools. I got onto Facebook Marketplace wasn't even there at the time. But I'd say Craigslist, flea markets, and I learned trial by fire how much to spend on tools and how much they would sell for in other arenas. I actually kept a profit and loss statement for the first year and a half. Yeah. I wanted to make sure I was actually making money. And not just spending money on tools, because sometimes it felt like I was just throwing money at tools and not making anything. But in the first year and a half, I bought about $6,000 worth of tools. Tooling's the wrong word. And I kept an entire wood shop of tools. Cabinet saw, unisaw, drill presses, everything, like a full-on shop. And the tools I didn't keep, I made $6,400 on. So my shop was free.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
So, and because of that, I still do it. Because it's just, I have all this knowledge of how much to pay for things and how much things sell for. I just do it less. I do it on bigger items, and I try to only go and get the stupid deals.
All right. So changing subjects here a little bit. I believe you are working on a Kickstarter.
I am, thanks to you. I came up with this idea, which I'll describe in a minute, called the Frog Pod. What it is, it's 3D printed. It's a magnetic mount for anything that accepts a $2.20. So that could be a camera, that could be a GoPro, that could be a light. All camera equipment basically uses $2.20 as their standard. And I forgot people can see this also. So
yeah, this is video.
But we're doing audio too, right? I listened to your last one on audio. Maybe that was by accident, though, right?
I screwed up the video on my last one.
I'm so used
to. I have
a podcast. I have a podcast, so I'm used to not nobody seeing anything.
Yeah, use your hands, show things off.
I know. Sorry. I'll switch modes now. So this is it, and there are 3 rather large magnets in each of these pods on the ends of these legs, and in the middle is a $2.20 with a D-ring, so you can do this by hand. But it's also good for lights, which...
I am really excited to buy one of these from you on your Kickstarter.
Yes!
Because my new shop has a corrugated steel roof.
Ooh.
And so I'll just be able to put a camera up anywhere. And granted, it'll be upside down, but I can flip that in the settings.
In post, yeah.
Or in post,
exactly.
And then same thing with lights.
Oh. Right.
Is I can just pop up lights. And
that's so... In my shop, I have a 2-car garage, and I'm in the basement right now. But using a tripod it just doesn't work.
It's the worst.
Such a hassle.
Especially if you're trying to get something done.
Yeah. I actually made another product to cure that I call the Pogo Pod, and I have the website for it, but I don't think it's ever going to get off the ground. But it's just it's one of those those light poles that has 3 extensions to change really high light bulbs. I put a 20-inch spring in the bottom of that thing.
Okay.
And I pin it between the ceiling and the floor.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I have a phone mount that connects to it, and then even the Frog Pod will cling onto the 3/4-inch round thing, and it's super helpful. And then you can just grab it, push it down to the ground, push it forward, and then drag it to wherever you want and stick it back up. So that was the first thing I did to remedy the whole tripod problem. And then this was the second thing. And this is just cooler, cheaper. That thing would be $100 for me to make a prototype, This is a real product, and it I don't know what the price point is yet. That's why I'm hesitating. We're still figuring that out.
So about your Kickstarter, you haven't launched yet.
Nope.
What have you been learning? What have you been struggling with as you go through the process of setting that up?
Yeah, so I think I didn't realize that it's really a blank canvas. There's not a lot of prompting. So it's not like just fill in this form and now you have a Kickstarter. It's more like, here's a blank page. You do what you want, and then the rewards, it's a little more of a form, but you can still manipulate that in a bunch of ways. And I've written and deleted that like 4 or 5 times now. I just don't know what makes the most sense. And I think one of the big problems that I'm having is I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know, and I don't know how many people I'm talking to, right? So am I phrasing this for the 50 people I hope buy this thing? Or am I phrasing this for the 10,000 people that will scan past it and maybe buy this thing, right? So there's like this weird, I don't know. I don't know how to phrase things sometimes, you know? Like when I'm talking on my Instagram, I know exactly who I'm talking to. And in fact, many of them have names. So it's just a different world. So I don't want to sound like I'm going to sell 1 million of them. I don't want to sound like, I also don't want to go on the other end where I don't expect anything, right? You kind of want to present your best face, and it's hard to balance that. I'm finding, at least. I'll figure it out, right? But there's a little finagling there.
So you know what the traditional marketing approach to this would be, right?
No.
So there's
without Kickstarter, you mean?
Blanking on the name. Just like traditional marketing for anything.
Okay.
Anytime you're trying to sell something to somebody, you come up with a persona or several personas that is just like your imaginary customer. So, for example, when I started this YouTube channel for the first time, I was doing Fusion 360 tutorials. And the person in my head, and they don't have to be a real person, but the person in my head that I was making those YouTube tutorials for was Jimmy DiResta. Somebody who is mechanically skilled, who knows what they're doing, who understands the tech. Let me phrase it. Who understands the tools, but doesn't understand the technology.
Right.
And, from there you can start, thinking about how he would phrase things or how he would want things phrased.
Yep.
And so for you need to come up with a couple, imaginary people. We've got Joe, the photographer from New York. We've got Gus, the farmer with a trailer in Alabama. Once you figure out 3 or 4 of those people, you can start thinking about, okay, what does this person need? What does this person want? How do I talk to this person? How do I reach this person?
Yeah. So how do you reach all of them? I'm going to ask you questions now. How do you reach all of them?
You don't. If your marketing is directed at everybody, it'll be so vanilla that nobody will care. Right.
Okay. I'll try and digest that and figure out what that means to me. That's interesting. So just to touch on your Jimmy DiResta idea, mine was my sister.
Okay.
Like, I had such a hard time talking to the camera when I first started doing Instagram stories. It was awkward. You sound stupid. You look stupid. I mean, I still do, but I'm over it now. So, but I was like, I need to talk to one person. And it was my sister, who at the time, she was actually working out of my house because she didn't want to stay home. She worked from home, and she'd come over every day, and it was great. But I'd like go in my shop, film something stupid, walk upstairs and be like, hey, check this out. And that's all I've been doing since, is showing my sister the stupid crap that I'm doing. And it's made me so comfortable. But to your point now, it's like, it's not my sister anymore necessarily. It's these other people, other categories. So I gotta figure some of that out still.